So you've tried to manifest your dreams, you visualized, you did the inner work, you took action towards it, and yet something inside you resists. You move forward, and then something pulls you back. Momentum fades, old reactions surface, doubt creeps in. So why does this happen? Here's what most people don't realize. There's a desire driving your dream that's also blocking it. For many, the dream is a means to an end, and that end is some form of relief. Relief from your problems, relief from your pain, relief from the emotional weight that you feel about your life right now. So the dream becomes a solution, and manifestation becomes your focus. But manifestation techniques alone don't materialize the dream. You do. Here's the truth about manifestation. You manifest your dreams by evolving into the person who naturally creates that reality. When this happens, your actions towards your dream becomes inevitable because it's aligned with who you naturally are. And real evolution doesn't bypass who you are today. It moves through it, through your current conditioning, through your current reactions, through your current state of consciousness. You can't skip this version of you. You evolve from it. And that's where most manifestation work falls apart, because evolving from who you are today requires something deeper than affirmations, visualizations, law of attraction, or even quantum jumping. It requires leadership. Even after a decade creating my own self-healing and evolutionary modality, I realized that techniques alone are not effective without elevated, conscious leadership. And most people were never taught how to develop that. In this video, I'm going to show you why this is the missing foundation for turning your dreams into reality and what it actually takes to elevate your inner leader. To understand this, we need to understand what's really happening at a deeper level. Why is achieving your dream so important to you? For most of us, it's not just the joy of achieving it. It's because we believe the dream will bring us some form of relief. Relief from the pain and disappointment of your past. If I had the perfect relationship, I'd feel secure. If I had the success, I'd feel worthy. If I made money, I'd finally relax. The dream becomes a way to cope with old emotional charge, and that emotional charge automatically activates your nervous system. Have you ever noticed a subtle pressure behind your goals? The sense that you need to hurry, the belief that once it happens, you finally feel relieved? That pressure is a sign your nervous system is taking charge. Here's another dynamic that's important to understand. When your nervous system drives your dreams, it can push you forward. But that moment that you move into this unknown territory, your nervous system will trigger the need for protection, for safety, because you feel exposed, you feel unsafe, you feel doubt. These deeper emotions are further amplified by your actions that are taking you further away from the safety of familiarity. And now you have two forces inside you working against each other. One part pulling you towards the dream, another part pulling you towards safety. That inner friction is what drains your energy. That's why progress starts to feel inconsistent. After several cycles of this, your dreams can feel out of reach. And this struggle can drive you to search for a way to just get through this phase. This is what draws us to manifestation techniques. The ones that people claim will get instant results. But this doesn't work because it ignores one of the most critical conditions to reaching and sustaining your dream. Every future you imagine must pass through this very moment, through your current emotional state, through your current reactions, through your current state of consciousness. You don't arrive at your dream as a completely different person. You arrive there by evolving from who you are today. Even if you're able to automatically manifest your dream life without evolving who you are today, you wouldn't be able to maintain it because you didn't create that reality through your emotional programming, perspectives, beliefs, abilities, and actions. So the moment something challenges your new reality, you wouldn't know how to recover from it or recreate it if it was lost. You see this all the time with people who have won large sums of money. They received the money, but they didn't become the person who knows how to create and sustain wealth. Within a few years, many of them are back in the same financial reality as before. This principle also applies to your current reality. You created your current reality that you're experiencing right now through who you are today. Your emotions, your beliefs, your identity, your skills, your actions. All of these qualities allowed you to manifest your current reality because you have this internal makeup that naturally creates it. So to change your reality, you have to be able to lead yourself to make changes within you and create the right conditions for your dreams to naturally unfold. Here's the part that's really important to understand. Whether you realize it or not, you are a leader. You've been leading your life for years. The leader that you are today was shaped by your beliefs, your experiences, your conditioning. And remember that cycle of pressure and resistance we talked about earlier? It's been training you to lead yourself in a very specific way. And most people don't even realize this is happening. Here's what it's doing. When you feel the dream pull you forward, you take action towards the unknown. And that triggers your need for safety. Your system then shifts into protection. You feel the discomfort, the tension, the pressure. And when that pressure builds, it activates your nervous system to solve the discomfort as fast as possible. This is where most default leadership strategies are formed, not through thoughtful practice, but from the urgent need for relief. So without realizing it, you start leading yourself from one of two default strategies. The first default strategy is force. Let's call this pressure leadership. This is where you push harder, override what you feel, just ignore it and get it done. And at first, it can work. You create momentum, you take action, you even see results. But underneath the surface, something else is happening. When you push past this part of you that feels unsafe, that part doesn't disappear. It resists more. So you push harder. It resists even more. And now you have two forces inside of you in conflict. One part pulling you towards the dream, another part pulling you towards safety. That inner friction is what drains your energy. It's what becomes 2 steps forward and then 1 or even 3 steps back. The second default strategy is avoiding discomfort. Let's call this relief leadership. This is where you focus on instant manifestation techniques, finding shortcuts or hacks, or waiting for the right person or opportunity to bring your dream to you. Relief leadership tries to bypass the friction instead of pushing through it. But the conflict underneath never gets resolved. It just gets quiet for a while until it shows up again as procrastination, distraction, or self-sabotage. Different strategy, same inner resistance. Now you may be wondering if pressure leadership amplifies inner conflict and relief leadership avoids it. What kind of leadership actually resolves it? Before we get to that, we need to understand something about resistance that's very important. You see, the part of you that resists your dream is not your enemy. It's a part of you that's actually trying to keep you safe. It's a part of your survival instinct. It doesn't care about your vision. It cares about your safety. When you step forward to pursue your dream, you step outside of your comfort zone, and you may experience new levels of visibility, responsibility, uncertainty, and emotional risk. That's when your survival system starts scanning for threats. Not logically, instinctively. Is there a chance I'll be vulnerable, judged, embarrassed, rejected, emotionally hurt, or deeply disappointed? The survival part of you is incredibly efficient. It reacts before you even have a chance to think about how you want to respond. And in trying to keep you safe, it automatically triggers an emotion to pull you away from what it perceives as danger. And what shapes these reactions are your emotional imprints. Your imprints were formed in moments when you didn't feel safe or when your needs weren't met. These could be formed by events as big as traumatic experiences or as little as emotional discomfort repeated over time. These are moments where your system learned it isn't safe. The stronger these past experiences felt, the stronger the reaction you feel now. And sometimes the emotion is so strong that it overrides your logic. Because to your nervous system, survival always comes first. And this part of you is not just afraid of the unknown future, it's also reacting to being ignored, overridden, minimized. When a protective part of you feels dismissed, it fights harder to be heard. Imagine you were trying to keep someone you deeply love safe. You saw something that they didn't, and you felt that they were in danger. So you warned them, and they ignored you. What would you do? Would you stop caring? You'd try again. You'd raise your voice. You'd make the warning clearer, louder, more convincing, urgent. Not because you're trying to control them, but because you're trying to protect them. This is what your nervous system is doing. And the more you ignore it, the louder it gets. That's when you experience the crash, the spiral, the unexpected pullback. So the solution doesn't come from amplifying your drive towards your dream. It comes from learning to create and maintain inner alignment. And in doing that, especially when you're activated or spiraling, requires a different kind of leadership. What you need is a leadership that works with all of the aspects that make you who you are. A leader that doesn't abandon parts of you. A leader that doesn't override your feelings. A leader that doesn't try to skip discomfort when it's part of the growth. This is conscious leadership, because conscious leadership doesn't treat resistance like it's the enemy. It treats resistance like information. It recognizes that the part of you pulling you towards safety is not trying to ruin your life. It's trying to protect you. So instead of amplifying inner conflict, conscious leadership creates inner alignment. And here's what that means. When discomfort arises, you don't panic. You don't force your way through. You don't jump to the next shortcut. You pause. You widen your awareness. You notice which part of you is activated and what it's afraid of what will happen. And you lead it, not by arguing with it, by understanding it, honoring its intention to keep you safe, and creating enough internal safety for it to soften and release so that emotional imprint anchoring that resistance lets go. When that happens, your clarity comes back, your actions become clearer and more aligned, and you can move forward with less resistance and more flow. Because your actions come from alignment instead of conflict. This kind of leadership is what it takes to evolve into the person capable of creating and maintaining your dream. So now you may be asking, how do I develop it? Well, first, you have to understand your inner architecture, how your emotions, perceptions, identity, and nervous system shapes your experience of reality. Because if you don't understand what's running your system, you can misread what's happening. You might interpret resistance as failure, discomfort as a sign that you're off track, emotional activation as a reason to stop. When in reality, your system is trying to protect you. Second, you need tools that resolve the deeper source of the problem, not surface shifts, not coping tools that you have to constantly maintain. Tools that actually resolve old emotional charge and align your internal system. Third, you need an approach that creates constant, embodied progress. Real progress happens through small evolutionary changes that you practice consistently. These small shifts stack. They build stability. They build capacity. I call this microevolution. Microevolutions allow you to embody change in a way that your nervous system doesn't reject. And when that happens, your dreams begin to unfold naturally as a reflection of who you're becoming. This is the foundation of elevated conscious leadership. And that's exactly what I'll teach in the next video. If you're tired of pushing and pulling against yourself, this masterclass will show you how to resolve the conflict at the source. I walk you through the deeper structure behind everything we touched on today. You'll learn what elevated conscious leadership actually is and the key elements that create real evolutionary growth that lasts. You'll also experience a powerful way to release emotional resistance from the source. So if you're ready to elevate your inner leadership to a higher level of consciousness, subscribe so you'll be notified when that masterclass goes live. So let's summarize what you learned. You learned that your dream can unknowingly become a strategy for relief. That need for relief can put your nervous system in charge. You learned about the cycle that can keep you stuck, where you push forward, you hit the unknown, and this activates your need for safety, which causes you to have this resistance that pulls you back. This can automatically condition you to default into one of two leadership styles. One pushes and forces, the other one avoids. Both try to push the dream forward, but they also amplify the resistance inside of you. The solution to this is elevated conscious leadership, understanding your inner architecture, using source-level tools to resolve emotional imprints, and practicing microevolutions consistently, so change becomes embodied and sustainable. This kind of leadership resolves inner conflict, it calms the nervous system, and allows your dreams to unfold as a natural expression of who you're becoming. If this resonated with you, I invite you to like this video so it can reach others on a similar path. And remember, your dreams aren't waiting for a better manifestation technique. They're waiting for you to embody the kind of conscious leadership that naturally allows your dreams to unfold.